First, I want to give big thanks to Honda of Laos, which made this video possible. So if you're in the market for a brand new or used Honda, make sure you check them out. Their URL is in the description below. Today, I'm behind the wheel of a 2020 Honda Pilot LX, which means this is the base trim level that you could get for the Honda Pilot. Now, the Honda Pilot is a fantastic SUV and has been for a long time, but I feel like it's been overshadowed by the newcomers in the space, such as the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade. And of course, you have the brand new Highlander. But the Honda Pilot is still one of the best three-row large SUVs that you can buy today. Now, this LX that I'm driving starts at $33,000 with all-wheel drive, which is incredible value. And without it, just front-wheel drive is $31,000. To put that into perspective, that is a full $17,000 less than the top trim level, the Honda Pilot Black Edition. So let's start out with the good, because quite honestly, there is a lot of good to this Honda Pilot. Let's just start out with the size and space. This is one of the biggest three-row mid-size SUVs that you could buy today. It's comparable to the behemoths like the Telluride and the Palisade. Starting with the cargo space, look at behind the third row, you get plenty of cargo space. And what I love is that hidden storage area underneath. You can put a lot of things under there. And Honda did something quite clever. Take a look at that lid. You could flip it around and you get a harder surface on the other side. So if you're putting something messy, like let's say bricks or mulch from Home Depot, you could easily clean it and wipe it off or wash it off without any worry. And that is really clever. And the third row, they fold down very easily. There's a strap you pull, and take a look. With a third row down, you get plenty of cargo space. This is a big SUV. Even with me in the third row, and I'm 5'10", when the second row seats are all the way slid back, I still have like a ½ inch of legroom. And that is very impressive. Keep in mind, that's the second row all the way back. Now, of course, you can move it up and get plenty of more room in the third row. I've tested a lot of three-row SUVs recently. For example, the Highlander. You don't get this much space in the Highlander. You don't get this much space in the CX-9. It's very rare do you see a three-row midsize SUV that actually has a good amount of space in the third row for adults. Also, what's nice in the third row is you actually get a set of car seat latches. Those of you guys that are parents, I know a lot of you guys are always looking for car seat latch info. In this Pilot, you actually get 4 of them. You actually get 3 in the second row. Yes, you get 1 in the middle, and you get another one in the third row. So if you had 4 car seats to latch up, not a problem. And in terms of second row space, there's so much of it. With the seats slid all the way back, you can see I have 8 inches of legroom at least, and equal in headroom. There is a ton of space, plenty wide, and the seats actually feel pretty comfortable. Because this is the base, the LX, you don't get leather, but this cloth seat actually feels pretty good. It holds you in, and the cushion actually feels good. It doesn't feel cheap or hard, it feels pretty comfortable. So the second row is very spacious, very comfortable. The downside is, because of the base trim, you don't get much else. You get a pair of vents up front, and you get cup holders on the side, but that's pretty much it. There's no USB ports, no 12V outlets, no sunshade, no panoramic sunroof, no heated seats. All that is gone. But for a lot of you guys, that's perfectly fine. Now, moving up front, the space up here is just as big as the second row. It definitely feels like a big SUV. Now, some of you guys may like that, some of you guys may not, because it does feel like a big SUV, which means turning into tighter spots, parking spots may be difficult for some of you guys. This is a high riding SUV. It does not feel like a compact SUV. You're sitting high up, it gives you a commanding view, and the view is almost surreal. You get a tremendous view in here, and that's because the windows are absolutely huge all around you. The front windshield, very big. I can see well over the hood. Same thing, side windows, back windows. The blind spot is almost non-existent. And the rear window, the hatch window, is absolutely big. Even with the headrest up, it does not block my view. So inside, yes, it does feel big, but you definitely feel like you're sitting above it all. Like you're sitting on a cloud and you're looking down on people. Now, what about the drive? Well, I think it's a very nice drive, especially with this powerful V6 engine up front. It's pushing 280 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot these days, but with the right 6-speed and with the right gearing, this Pilot is actually pretty quick. 0 to 60 is about 6.3 to 6.5 seconds, which is faster than most of the competition. Plus, what I like about the 6-speed auto is that I'm already used to it since my daily driver Honda Ridgeline uses the same engine and transmission setup. It keeps this Pilot in the right gear all the time, and it never feels bogged down like a lot of these 9 or 10-speed automatics. During my test drive with the Pilot and the Ridgeline with the 9-speed, I honestly prefer the 6-speed over the 9-speed. It just feels better to me. However, you do sacrifice fuel economy though, as the 6-speed Pilot gets 2 miles per gallon less than the 9-speed with combined fuel economy. Now, the steering is decent. It's not the most precise steering. As you can see, there is some play in the steering wheel. However, there is a good, decent weight to it. And overall, I think it feels pretty good. When making sharp turns, you're still going to feel a lot of body roll since this is a big riding and large SUV. But the suspension is more than adequate for roads like this. It soaks up the bumps just fine. So when you combine the steering and suspension setup together, it's more than adequate for most people looking for a comfortable daily driver. Honda Sensing, which is Honda's safety suite, is standard even on this base trim of the Pilot. Includes all the goodies such as pre-collision warning, emergency braking, lane assist, adaptive cruise control. All this is included for free, while some other manufacturers still charge for it. You don't get things like parking sensors front or rear or blind spot monitoring. However, you can get those with higher trim levels. Besides Honda Sensing, what else do you get in this Pilot LX? Well, starting on the outside, you do get partial LED headlights and taillights along with daytime running lights. You also get nice looking 18-inch alloy wheels which really complement the look, and standard privacy glass on both sides contrasts really well with the white body color that you see here, and also the black handles. Inside, you have a nice large 7-inch info screen in the gauge cluster. It replaces both the speedometer and tachometer and shows you all the usual stuff such as trip computer, fuel economy settings. It's a nice setup. And there's plenty of ports up front. You get one USB port and a 12V outlet underneath, and also a pair inside the center console. Interesting enough, you do get dual climate control. However, it's one setting for the front and one setting for the rear. It's not the usual driver and passenger setup. The climate control is also not auto, so you will have to fumble around with it to adjust the temperature and speed manually. Now, the 5-inch infotainment screen that you see here is a bit disappointing. It's bare minimum. Radio and Bluetooth, and that's pretty much it. No Apple CarPlay nor Android Auto. You do get a volume knob, and you can't view the rear camera. It is color screen, but it's small. Now, if you upgrade to the EX trim of the Pilot, you do get a bigger and better 8-inch touchscreen setup with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but this one does not get it. Now, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned about how this base LX is $17,000 less than a fully loaded Black Edition. So what do you miss out on? Well, honestly, a lot of things. Power adjusting seats for one, better infotainment screen, I already mentioned that, sunroof, leather, auto climate control, rear entertainment setup in the rear, captain chairs, power liftgate with hands-free feature, heated and ventilated seats, and there are other stuff. Those are all nice, however, for some of you guys, those are just not needed. By the way, if you're car shopping and you're wondering how this base all-wheel drive LX Pilot is versus, say, a base L Highlander, this Pilot comes in almost $3,000 less. Yes, the Highlander is equipped with a few extra goodies and is more comparable to the EX Pilot. However, this Pilot definitely has a lot of what people are looking for. So if you're in the market for extremely capable, comfortable, and spacious mid-size SUV at an extremely affordable price, it's really hard to beat a Pilot LX. And let's not forget Honda's reliability and high resale value. Next, let's look at the good and bad to this brand new Pilot LX. Starting with the good, you have a big, brawny SUV look on the outside. There's a great engine and transmission combo. It is very spacious in all rows, including cargo room. You have a quiet and comfortable ride, and great visibility and a commanding view drive. And finally, which is very rare, you get 4 cart seat latches for families. As for the bad, there are a few. Miles per gallon is lower with the 6-speed versus the 9-speed Pilots. The infotainment screen desperately needs an upgrade. There's no captain chair option unless you opt for a higher trim. Little things such as auto climate control and power driver seats are not included. And finally, you have no USB ports in the second nor third row. Overall, I'm giving this Pilot LX a score of 96, and if you want to see how it compares with the others in this class, check out driversonlyrankings.com. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future reviews, first looks, or news.